Hello, learners. Welcome you to the MOOCs program of Environmental Education. I am Professor Nakhat Nasreen. Presently, I am Chairperson, Department of Education. These lectures are very important lectures as you will have knowledge as well as the skills which you need to develop in your daily life with respect to environment and environmental education. So, the title of today's lecture is Meaning, Scope, and Importance of Environmental Education. So, let us discuss them in detail. The content of today's lecture will include a brief introduction about man and his environment, the relationship between man and environment, then concept of environment, wherein we will try to define and explain you the meaning of environment. Then we will discuss global threats to our environment. And fourthly, we will discuss the need for awareness and education. Then we will elaborate the scope of environmental education to you. And in the end of this lecture of today, I will explain you what is the importance of environmental education. So let us proceed one by one. As I said, man and environment have a very long relationship. In fact, man's relationship with his environment is as old as the existence of man on this earth. Nature is the source of all requirements to sustain life on earth. You know, we are living on this earth from time immemorial and we are exhausting the resources which are there. We have air, we have water, we have soil, we have various types of land like mountains, rivers, oceans, the coastal areas from where we fetch food, we grow agriculture, we grow fruits, we grow vegetation, we grow timber woods. So, all these sources are from nature, and all these sources are there for our requirement to sustain our life on this earth. That's why we call it Mother Nature. Nature is Mother, Dharti Ma. हम बोलते हैं ना धरती माँ. So why this is called Dharti Ma or Mother Nature? Because it provides us all the requirements to sustain our life. The earth serves as both a provider of amenities as well as a sink for waste through natural recycling. As we know that a river purifies itself and it becomes as pure as it was from the early start, from where it started running, after traveling 20 miles. And see, we dump in the rivers many things, the garbage, the effluents of the industries, and many impurities are there. They are put into the reservoirs and the rivers, oceans. But after traveling 20 miles, these reserves, the ocean, the rivers, they purify themselves again and they recycle the waste through natural recycling process. So Mother Earth is both a sink as well as the provider of natural resources. Now, what has happened wrong is that in our quest of development, we have exploited the Mother Earth in an unending manner and we have become our own enemies. The human quest for development has not left any corner or any section of the earth untouched. We have exploited too much of the natural resources, the oil resources, the forest resources, the ocean resources, wherein we find fishes and the animals which serve as food. So, this quest of human beings for their development and quality of life is unending. We have become greedy in this sense. As Gandhiji once said, that there is enough for man's need, but there is not enough for man's greed. So, when man becomes greedy, he will exploit the resources in such a way that one day all the resources will be vanished, and he will invite the problems by exploiting the earth and the resources in an unending way. So, scientific and technological advancements enabled greater exploitation of Earth's resources. And indiscriminate use of this capacity has created threats to human existence itself. That's why man has become his own enemy. So, unjust treatment of nature has made man his own enemy. There should be a mutual relationship between man and environment. There should be a reciprocal relationship. Like when we consume the resources, we should be able to generate them also. Like if we are cutting trees for some reasons, for construction of roads or for development of some industry, we should try to plant more trees so that when old trees are cut, new plants grow and they take place of the older trees. This way, there will be a balance in the nature. So, the requirement of today is that a new concept of development should be there where man and environment are mutually supportive. They should support each other. And as I said just now, when you are cutting some trees, plant some new trees. When you are exploiting Mother Nature, try to regenerate some sources and don't exploit too much that it is not left for the upcoming generation. So, a sustainable relationship should be there for a long term and everlasting future. Rational and judicious use of natural resources should be there. By judicious use, we mean that it should have some reason, it should have some sense. ये नहीं कि बस आप एक्सप्लॉइट किए जाओ इतना एक्सप्लॉइट कर लो कि आपके पास कुछ बचे ही ना आगे फ्यूचर के लिए. It has been said that don't bite more than you can chew. जितना आप हजम कर सकते हो, जितना आप चबा सकते हो, उतना ही काटो, ज्यादा नहीं काटो, वरना इनडाइजेशन होने लगेगा. तो in order to fulfill our needs, sometimes we become greedy and we exploit enormously. We exploit the mother nature and its resources unending way, in an unending way. That becomes harmful. So there should be a balance maintained between development and environmental conservation. So far as the concept or definition or meaning of environment is concerned, it has been defined in many ways. A layman understands environment in such a way that all the surrounding, all the green things which are there is environment. But no, environment is not limited to only the greenery or only the ambience around us. It is a web-like fashion of all physical, social, moral, natural, man-made, religious, economic factors which are there, which have a relationship with us, with human life, and a web-like interconnectedness among all these. You know, all these factors of the nation, social, moral, economic, are interconnected. All the relationship between the living things and the non-living things is also mutual. The water is cycling in a process. It is producing water summers and in all other days also. Under the effect of sun, the bodies of ocean, they produce evaporation, and those water vapors, they go up into the sky. There under the colder region, they are transformed into the cloud, and then they turn into water droplets, and they again come down to the earth in the form of water. So this is a process of recycling. So all the relationships, for example, the association between carbon dioxide and oxygen in nature, in air, is also balanced. How? We, the animals and human beings, we release carbon dioxide in the air during breathing process, during respiration process, and that carbon dioxide, which is harmful for us, is useful for the plants, and they utilize that carbon dioxide, and in turn they release oxygen in the environment. This way there is a balance between the amount of oxygen and carbon dioxide, and if this balance is disturbed, we face a lot of problem. The problem of air pollution, the problem of soil destruction and all. So the environment is not only the green surrounding or the nature, it is a sum of external conditions and influences affecting the life, development, and ultimately the survival of an organism. This definition is written there in the Dictionary of Geography in 1989, Caloria Stoddard. According to C.V. Good, who has given the definition in his book in 1973, environment is a general term designating all objects, all factors, all conditions that affect the individual through such stimuli as one is able to receive. We interact in the environment, we exploit the environment, we breathe in the environment, we go somewhere, we develop ourselves, we construct houses, we develop industries on the earth. So these are the interaction of human beings with nature. So there is a cause and effect relationship. When we explore the environment, when we exhaust the environment, in return we will face some challenges. So we have to overcome those challenges, we have to face those challenges, and we have to solve the problems which are created as a result of developmental process. Now, if we see the holistic view of environment, it includes physical landscape, it includes social structure, economic structure, the cultural setup, the political setup of a country, and religious factors also. So all these factors are there in the environment. There is a social environment, there may be an economic environment, there is a cultural environment, there is a political environment, and there is a religious environment. And all these things and the factors are interacted. They work in a web-like fashion, and there is a mutual benefit, there is a mutual relationship between all these factors. These factors interact jointly and coherently with each other. Human impact on surroundings is a dynamic and mutual part of the environment. The impact of human beings on surroundings is a dynamic and mutual part of the environment. It has to be there. There will be interaction because in order to live a livelihood, we have to interact with the environment. We have to fetch some resources. We have to fetch water. We have to construct our houses. We have to construct industries. So all these things are the impact on our surroundings, and in result we get something. But the balance will be there if we reprovide or regenerate the resources which we have consumed. Some resources are there which can be regenerated, but there are many resources which cannot be regenerated, like oil, petrol. So in that case, we have to put a check on our consumption, and we should not become greedy. There is enough in nature, enough. Child's first requirement when he takes birth is breathing. He needs oxygen for his survival, for breathing. And there is enormous air. See the layers of air, see the huge envelope of the air covered on the earth. So there is enormous. We need water. There are several bodies of water, starting from ocean, from rivers, estuaries, and in those water resources, we have food for ourselves. The water is a necessity for survival. It is used in agriculture. It is used for washing. It has many other uses. So all these resources which are there and which are provided by our Mother Earth are for our use, but the use should be judicious. External conditions are knitted in a balanced cosmic web. All factors play crucial roles in survival, development, and sustainability of life. Healthy environment is a collective responsibility. Environment is a precious gift of nature. We enjoy a healthy, pure, clean, and green environment, and it is a precious gift of nature to mankind. If you live in a healthy environment, it is a blessing. Nowadays, it is a blessing if you are surviving in a place where there are number of trees, where the air is fresh and not polluted. You see the conditions in Delhi NCR. How much polluted air is there that you cannot survive there for many days. But in other places where there are a number of trees and where the environment is green, clean, where we have drinking water, proper drinking water, pure water, good quality of water, and good living conditions, that is a blessing. And we have equal right. Every individual enjoys an equal right to live a healthy life and quality well-being on earth. So again, the relationship between right and duty is very important, and it is mutual. Again, if we want to enjoy our rights, there are someone who are serving us and who are giving the circumstances to enjoy our right. In the same way, others' rights are there, and they will enjoy the rights when we are there to serve them. For example, a teacher and student relationship. The student's right is to get education. A child cannot get education unless the teacher teaches. So, mutual right and duty. It is a duty of the teacher to teach the student. Student's right is to learn something, and it is given by or provided by a teacher who is teaching the student. And the protection of our environment is a collective duty of all of us. Whosoever lives on the environment, we together need to share the responsibility of protecting and conserving our environment. Nowadays, The entire world is facing various threats like melting of glaciers, ozone depletion, climate change, pollution of all types, noise pollution, air pollution, water pollution, deforestation, global warming, floods and drought, drinking water crisis, health hazards, radioactive pollution, extinction of endangered species. So these are the problems which are faced by all who are surviving on this earth. So these are global environmental threats, and all these threats should be coped up judiciously and should be dealt with intelligently, so that by living and consuming and enjoying all the resources, we at the same time save these resources for the future generation. So there are a number of global environmental threats, and there are social and human dimensions of environmental crisis. We are facing these crises because of poverty, because of illiteracy, because of child labor, because of disturbed ecosystems which are affecting human settlements, and because of new socio-economic system under modernity. The quest for modernity and westernization. Nowadays, every one of us, whether we live in Asia or Africa, we are molding ourselves in Western culture. I don't know why we do not cherish our own cultural heritage, and we follow the Western traditions, we follow the Western cultures. And this quest for modernity, जिसको हम कहेंगे कि होड़ है, एक होड़ है कि बस हम वेस्टर्नाइज हो जाएं, वेस्टर्न क्लोथ्स पहन के और वेस्टर्न ट्रेडिशंस को फॉलो करके हम समझते हैं कि हम मॉडर्न हो गए. दिस इज नॉट मॉडर्निटी at all. Modernity is the enlightenment of mind. If your mind is enlightened, if you think better, if your thinking is clean, then you are modern. Otherwise, you are conservative. But I don't know what is the trend that we enjoy following Western culture. So, this socio-economic system under modernity has disrupted our traditional harmony with nature. So the conclusion is, we need strong corrective measures and strategies to address these environmental and ever growing problems. Meaning of environmental education. As I told you, environment is the sum total of all physical, social, moral, economic, man-made and natural factors. In the same way, environmental education is also associated with all these things. It is not only limited to the green revolution or the green education or living in green areas or planting trees. This is not only environmental education. The meaning of environmental education is very, very broad. And environmental education is a process. Process of what? Process of developing awareness. Process of building skills. Process of fostering attitudes and values. Process of encouraging active participation. Process of promoting sensitivity towards the relationship between humans and the natural world. Now I take one by one. Developing awareness. Awareness of what? Awareness of environmental issues. Awareness of environmental problems. Awareness of environmental pollution. Awareness of the conservation of natural resources. Awareness about exploitation of energy and how to regenerate energy, how to conserve energy so as to save it for the future generations. So this is awareness. We need to be aware of our environment, the environmental issues, the energy, the issues related to living, the issues related to garbage disposal, the issues related to cleanliness and all. Then environmental education is a process of building skills in the learners so that they become a good citizen, they become a citizen who are environmentally aware and who can solve the environmental issues, who can solve the problems which are there in their vicinity. It is a process of fostering attitudes or inculcating positive attitudes towards environment. It is a process of inculcating positive values towards responsible environmental behavior. The behavior of citizens, the behavior of students should be positive towards their environment. I give you one example. While going out from the room, many of us leave the light, leave the fan, हम पंखा चलता हुआ छोड़ जाते हैं, हम बिजली जलती हुई छोड़ जाते हैं. We do not switch it off. So this is unawareness. We are not aware of the conservation of energy. What should we do? What should be our action? What should be our behavior? We should put off all the light and fan while going out of the room. This is a correct behavior with respect to environment and with respect to specifically energy conservation. So these attitude, positive attitude towards environment, positive values towards environment needs to be inculcated in our children. So through environmental education, we can do these things, we can fulfill these objectives. It is a process of encouraging active participation in environmental protection and improvement. We celebrate 5th June as Environment Day, World Environment Day. And what we do in that hot summer, scorching summer, we plant some trees which do not survive for a long period of time. इतनी गर्मी में आप धूप में कोई प्लांट लगाएंगे तो कैसे सर्वाइव करेगा? There are many other things. We can conduct a cleanliness drive. We can conduct a campaign towards garbage disposal. We should assess the problems of our vicinity. हमें अपने चारों तरफ अपने माहौल में देखना चाहिए कि हमारे यहाँ क्या चीजें हैं जिन पर सोचने की जरूरत है, जिन पर विचार करने की जरूरत है और जिनके लिए पब्लिक को अवेयर कराने की जरूरत है. हमें उस तरह के कैंपेन्स करने चाहिए सोसाइटी के अंदर, कम्युनिटी के अंदर. हमें देखना चाहिए कि हमारी कम्युनिटी में क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन अलीगढ़ वी फेस द प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ वाटर लॉगिंग, garbage disposal. So we should conduct a campaign with respect to the proper process of garbage disposal. So it is a matter of promoting sensitivity towards the environment, a sensitivity towards the relationship between human beings and the natural world. So all these aspects are covered under environmental education. I am repeating it again: development of awareness, building skills, fostering positive attitudes towards environment, fostering values or inculcating values towards responsible environmental behavior, encouraging active participation, and promoting sensitivity, a sense of protection, a sense of behavior, a good behavior towards the environment. The scope of environmental education is very wide. Under this head, under environmental education, we can conduct so many studies. We can study the aspects and concept of environmental education under so many heads and in so many branches of study, like in zoology, in botany, in geography, in chemistry, in physics, in engineering, social engineering, environmental engineering. There is enormous scope of studying environmental education. And if I take from other point of view, like from the point of view of natural resources, the conservation and management of natural resources is an area of study of environmental education. The entire ecology and biodiversity, which come under many branches of study like zoology, botany, geography, climatology, the engineering, environmental engineering, social engineering. There are many branches and areas of knowledge or domain of knowledge where we can study ecology and biodiversity, and it comes under the scope of environmental education. Environmental pollution and control. You see, there are environmental pollution boards under legal awareness, and under the BALLB and law programs, we can study environmental pollution. There are many acts related to environmental pollution. There are established boards which control the environmental pollution. So there are many mechanisms and many branches of study where we can study about environmental pollution and its control. The area is very, very wide. The subject is very wide, and specialized courses are run under these heads. And it is a matter of lack of awareness of students that they don't know where they can go and where they can excel. So there are many issues. There are social issues in relation to development and environment. There are human resource and environment. There is a separate Ministry of Environment. There is a Ministry of Human Resource Development, and all these come under the scope of environmental education. So, learners, I would advise you to search for the opportunities where you can study, where you can get good jobs, and where you can flourish under the head of environment. Its scope is very, very wide. You can you can excel and you can do good in these areas डिपेंडिंग अपॉन योर इंटरेस्ट, कि आपका इंटरेस्ट किस में है. आपका नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज में इंटरेस्ट है, किसी को इकोलॉजी पसंद होगी, किसी को बायोडाइवर्सिटी पसंद होगी, किसी को लॉ पसंद होगा, तो आप एनवायरमेंटल पॉल्यूशन बोर्ड्स के बारे में पढ़ सकते हैं. कंट्रोल मैकेनिज्म क्या है, कौन से लॉ बने हैं, कौन से एक्ट्स हैं एनवायरमेंट के, है ना. पूरी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एनवायरमेंट है, लीगल ज्यूरिडिक्शंस वगैरह हैं. तो आप लोगों को इसमें सर्च करना चाहिए और अपने फ्यूचर को आगे जो है एनवायरनमेंट के फील्ड में अगर आप डेवलप करना चाहते हैं, बिल्ड करना चाहते हैं अपना फ्यूचर, तो आप सर्च कर सकते हैं. आप देख सकते हैं कि अलग अलग फील्ड में क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं और कौन से कोर्सेज आप पढ़ सकते हैं. सो देयर इज अ नीड ऑफ एनवायरमेंटल awareness and environmental education. Awareness and education are two different terms which should be understood. Awareness, superficial knowledge, I must say, not a deep knowledge, just a knowing, just having aware of something. But education is a detailed dealing with respect to all levels of educational objectives like knowledge, understanding, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. So education is deeper in meaning and awareness is a superficial thing. So there is a need of mass awareness for cultural, social, economic, and spiritual welfare. Education is a powerful instrument to fight serious environmental challenges and understanding consequences of unplanned human activities. So it is a necessity of today that we understand what will be the consequences of unplanned human activities. Awareness and education is also necessary with respect to developing active participation and active role in adults and children. So adults and children must play a more active role for a sustainable tomorrow. As I said a few moments before, that it is a matter of mutual cooperation, it is a civic responsibility, it is a togetherness and a responsibility which is collective in nature. All of us should work jointly for protection of our environment, and all of us should help each other in understanding the issues related to environment, and all of us should work together and should play active role, should take active participation in solving the environmental issues. Environmental education is very, very necessary because of the following reasons. The accelerating and continuing damage to environment by all types of pollution, non-judicial exploitation of natural resources, violation of human rights and threats to human dignity, need for immediate attention to environmental problems and their solutions, requirement of an action plan to address environmental issues. Now, it should not be limited to only theory and knowledge of these issues. The time has come that we should actively participate in solving these problems. So, there is a need of an action plan. What should be the responsibilities of citizens? How civic or public can participate, how they may be involved in solving and in addressing the environmental issues. So public should also be involved, community should be involved. There should be some community development programs related to environment and specific to each community. हर कम्युनिटी की अलग प्रॉब्लम्स है एनवायरनमेंट की, कहीं वाटर लॉगिंग की प्रॉब्लम है, जो लोग कोस्टल एरियाज में है वहाँ अलग प्रॉब्लम है, जो डिजर्ट में है उनकी अलग प्रॉब्लम है, जो माउंटेन्स में है उनकी अलग प्रॉब्लम है. सो वी शुड सर्च द environmental issues and problems which are related to our own situation, which are there in our vicinity, and we should try to play active role in solving these problems and crises. So in a nutshell, green revolution is the need of the hour, and we should try our level best to take active role in green revolution. Role of education in environmental issues is very, very important, as education is a process of developing awareness, building character and sensitization of individuals and society. Educational institutions can arouse consciousness among children and community, ensuring that every citizen is knowledgeable enough to participate in solving environmental problems. A large section of the society is still ignorant, so education may bridge this gap, and the teachers, the students should come forward in bridging this gap and in solving the problems related to our environment. So civic responsibilities need to be taught and understood by all of us. Role of teachers in environmental education. A teacher is a strong agent of what? Of disseminating knowledge, of generating awareness, of developing the potential of students for environmental action. A teacher is a strong agent of preparing students for a better and sustainable tomorrow. He is a strong agent of inculcating desirable values towards the environment. So all the objectives of environmental education can be realized if teachers play their role in it. Importance of environmental education. Again, the environmental education is very, very important with respect to developing awareness and concern with respect to behavior change and modification of behavior towards positive environmental values, in order to maintain sustainability and supporting sustainable development and judicious resource use. In supporting the policy matters, it strengthens implementation of environmental laws and regulations. For future citizens, it prepares them in and turn the students into future citizens who are well informed about the environment, who are skilled in solving the environmental problems, and who are committed to the mother nature. So in this regard also, a global action is required which connects local action to global environmental movements. Our campus, AMU, And our Department of Education, is a beautiful example of environmental education and a campus. As you can see, various photographs which I have used in my presentation are taken from the vicinity, from our department. See, this is Department of Education, very lush green area, and you may see the university road full of beautiful trees, the medical colony. So in our university, we are maintaining the campus. So Department of Education and our Aligarh Muslim University is surrounded by nature and committed to green education. We live in a good environment and we relish the beauty of our campus. The key points of today's lecture are that man and environment share a mutual interdependent relationship. Environmental problems are global and require urgent collective action. Environmental education is a necessity, not a choice in today's world. Environmental education must be integrated into all levels of formal and non-formal education. Teachers play the most crucial role in making environmental education effective and impactful. The ultimate goal of environmental education is sustainable development and a livable future. These are the references. So thank you so much. Thank you for patiently listening to my lecture. If you have any query or questions, you may contact me. I will share my email address and my phone number later on in these lectures. So thank you once again. Thank you very much.